Clubs really are reuniting with their exes this summer, aren't they? First there was Juve bringing back Allegri, and now Real Madrid have hired Carlo Ancelotti. Welcome to Rabona TV. I hope you are well. I can't believe I'm doing 2 Real Madrid videos in a row, but hey, such is life. While I work on the Euro previews, this huge story comes up. We talk about it, we share opinions. Let me know if you think Ancelotti will be the answer for Real Madrid and if he'll win his first trophy in 4 years. If you're new here, subscribe. We'll have plenty of coverage for you all summer. Other than that, vamos. Just 24 hours after Zinedine Zidane had released his tell-all letter to Real Madrid supporters, Real Madrid tried to put that behind them by having a quick turnaround. Something that I don't think they were necessarily prepared for. Given the icy press release for Zidane's departure, a man who formerly had a farewell press conference with the club back in 2018, they don't do that for every manager, do they? As we know, his relationship with Perez had eroded, and in leaving Real Madrid in the lurch, Perez was likely presented with few options. But on Tuesday, June 1st, 2021, Everton announced that Ancelotti would be leaving to join Real Madrid. Ancelotti himself saying in the press release, quote, "While I have enjoyed being at Everton, I have been presented with an unexpected opportunity which I believe is the right move for me and my family at this time." End quote. Conte came up often as a replacement for Zidane, though with the lack of signings expected at Real Madrid and with the squad in major need of investment, it never seemed like Antonio Conte would take up the mantle. Massimiliano Allegri's name was constantly thrown around, but he signed on with Juve shortly before Zidane had officially left Real. Pochettino, there's rumors of him wanting to leave PSG, and those are actually getting stronger now, but it was confirmed that he wasn't available by Leonardo. We'll see what happens there. Apparently he's desperate to go back to Tottenham. But anyways, instead of looking for someone else, perhaps someone new, Perez and Real opted to go with the easier option of bringing in a familiar name. So familiar, in fact, that they turned to someone who they had sacked exactly 12 months after helping them achieve their Halo Decima back in 2014. Everton manager Carlo Ancelotti, the manager who has the highest win percentage ever at Real Madrid with 75%, at least the highest amongst managers that have overseen at least 50 matches. But also a manager that had spoken of how he wanted to be around Everton until at least 2024 when his contract ran out. Here are some quotes from February. "I would like to be here when the new stadium is opened. It will be a good achievement for me. To finish the contract here in 2024 means that you did a good job, and when you do a good job, the contract will not be stopped in 2024. It will continue. This time I spent here is 1 year, and I have felt really good, so I would like to stay as long as possible." Well, okay, Adrian, that's from February, about 3 months ago. A lot changes in 3 months, right? Absolutely right. So here are some quotes from a couple weeks ago when he was asked about Real Madrid in particular. Quote, "This is good publicity for me to be linked with Real Madrid, but it is not true. I am really happy to stay here. We have difficulties, of course, but I feel good at Everton, and my target is to make Everton better and better every year." So I guess he wasn't kidding when he said it was an unexpected opportunity. And I only bring up these quotes to illustrate how some Everton supporters could feel a bit slighted. Feel a bit of frustration with Carlo Ancelotti. Frustration beyond their 10th place finish, of course. There could potentially be an awkward conversation ahead between Carlo Ancelotti and Florentino Perez, by the way, as Ancelotti was vocal about his disapproval of the breakaway Super League and pushed for punishments for those Premier League sides that had joined in. Quote, "The most important part, they wanted to build a competition without sporting merit. This is not acceptable. Our culture, we are born married to our sport. They were wrong. Full stop." Later, when he was pushed about Everton's financial fair play issues, he was quick to point to the Super League. The Premier League has to solve different problems than the financial fair play of Everton. For the fact that 6 teams wanted to go in the Super League, first of all, they have to take care of this, and then maybe they can have a look at Everton. So that will be fun, but I'm sure Carlo and Florentino will bury the hatchet quite easily, given that Ancelotti will most likely have adopted that stance toward the Super League as one of the managers of a team that was not invited. Well, I guess they will have a couple of things to bury the hatchet over because, as mentioned, Perez sacked Ancelotti 12 months to the day after he helped Real Madrid win the Champions League, the Decima, their 10th European Cup. That was obviously massive for the club and Ancelotti's managerial career, winning that competition at 2 different clubs. As Sergio Ramos scored right at the death to equalize, Otherwise, it would have been an Atletico Madrid win in the Champions League. Can you imagine, by the way? It would have been a win for them in the Champions League final to go along with their La Liga triumph that same season, and likely would have been the end of Carlo at Real Madrid. The turnaround in extra time was truly spectacular though, wasn't it? Full credit for that, as well as the Copa del Rey that Ancelotti's side won against Barcelona 2-1, thanks to that incredible Bale goal that I'm sure you've seen many, many times. So in his first season, he won the Copa del Rey, the Champions League, and finished third in the standings. Not bad at all. Later, they went on to win the UEFA Super Cup and the Club World Cup. 4 trophies for Carlo at Real Madrid. But the 4-0 loss to Atletico Madrid in the league, followed by the semi-finals loss to Juve in the Champions League, was seemingly all that Perez could put up with. And he sacked the Italian once the season was over, much to the dismay of plenty of players. I remember Ronaldo being very vocal about it. But Ancelotti did help Real Madrid kickstart their European dominance. He did show Zidane the ropes, as Zidane was announced as his assistant upon Ancelotti's signing as Real Madrid manager back in 2013. He did have a large contribution to Real Madrid, and his sacking did come across as harsh at the time. Let's take a quick look at what Ancelotti's trajectory has been like since the last time he was managing in Spain. Upon leaving Real Madrid, Ancelotti took some time off for health reasons, then took over Bayern Munich's managerial post as Pep Guardiola was on his way to Manchester City in the summer of 2016. While he managed to deliver the Bundesliga title, his performances in the Champions League and the DFB Pokal weren't considered up to standard, and according to some of the players, his training sessions weren't as well. You'll remember Arjen Robben saying that he saw better training exercises and drills at his son's team, how there were secret training sessions that were run by the players themselves. They were condemning stories that didn't cover Ancelotti in much glory, but he took over Napoli 8 months after he was sacked by Bayern in September of 2017, so he took on Napoli in May of 2018. And his time at Napoli, I guess it was just a little bit strange, as Ancelotti took over for Sarri, who was Chelsea bound, and he did a pretty damn good job. Sure, in hindsight, you could say that Inter, AC Milan, and Atalanta were still sleeping giants at the time, Juventus the clear big dog in the league, but Ancelotti's achievement of finishing in second place, 11 points behind Juventus with Napoli, was still considered good, even though Sarri had come much closer, just 4 points behind Juve, with 91 points the season prior. Then there was the whole Napoli civil war aspect, which led to Ancelotti getting the sack in December of 2019. Perhaps unfairly so, but with Aurelio De Laurentiis involved, I mean, nothing and nobody is sacred. So heading almost straight to Everton, Ancelotti inherited a 15th placed Everton, took them as high as 9th, and settled in at 12th by the end of his first 6 months with the team or so. His first full term with the Toffees saw him improve by 2 places this past season, finishing in 10th. Alright, don't kill me, it's opinion time. Let me say this right off of the rip, as I know I will read in the comments all about this. No, I do not hate Carlo Ancelotti, far from it. People who have been watching for a while, or for at least a year or so, will know that I was fairly critical of Ancelotti's move to Everton. Nothing against Ancelotti, I just didn't think it was a fit. I had major doubts about him being a success at the Merseyside club. Basically, my point was that Ancelotti is a guy who goes into a team that already has established stars, already has a ton of talent, and he improves them. He helps to elevate them even further. No, he wasn't able to do that at Bayern, but he did so at Milan and Real Madrid, and he did a decent job at Chelsea as well. With Everton, it was a very different project, and I think the results were pretty middling at best. 2 mid-table finishes. I guess you could say that the first half season he managed may not count. That's fine, but the 2020-21 season certainly does, and that's where they finished in 10th. Now, heading to Real Madrid, this squad is in much worse shape than it was when he was first with the club. And the fact that he'll remember so many faces sort of illustrates that point further. It's an aging side that needs investment, that doesn't have a Ronaldo anymore, and he likely won't get that investment. There's talent for sure, but as shown by Chelsea, they simply can't keep up when it comes to Europe's elite. To me, this seems like it was the easy way out for Perez. Choose a world-renowned manager who has delivered at the club previously, that has delivered league titles in other countries, and who knows, maybe he sees him as a stopgap for a younger coach to take over in the future, but something tells me that Perez doesn't really have that foresight. Ancelotti hasn't won a trophy since he was at Bayern Munich in 2017. That's 4 years now. That could be in part because he was at clubs that don't win trophies as often. Well, hang on, actually. Gattuso won the Coppa Italia with Napoli upon taking over for Ancelotti, so that doesn't work, I guess. But you get my point. He went from managing the elite clubs in Europe, clubs that win trophies for fun, to managing Napoli and Everton. Now, there is always a chance that upon returning to the elite level, if you will, he'll be able to work his old magic of making a good team great. He may well win trophies with Real Madrid, but there's a little voice in the back of my head that says, similarly to Mourinho, football his glory years are behind him a little bit. I'm sorry, that will sound like blasphemy to some, and I absolutely respect Ancelotti's legacy with Milan and Madrid, the 3 Champions League titles he's won. But as a manager in 2021, with this Real Madrid side in 2021, I won't be holding my breath. But man, hey, hopefully football makes a fool of myself and those of a similar opinion once again, and Ancelotti has a return to form that bears fruit for Real Madrid. Because from a narrative point of view, as a neutral in this situation, as the guy who supports Benfica, who's not in the same realm, it would be a great story. But what do you guys think? Is this a match made in heaven or a poorly thought out appointment from Perez and his boys? Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe for much more content from us here at Rabona TV. Other than that, I'm Adrian. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.